Hello and welcome back to the port. I'm the Gaff Major and this is Admiralty Reports. Admiralty Reports is your gameplay submissions with my commentary, and today we have a submission from Ekizoon, and he is playing in the British Tech Tree Tier 7 destroyer HMS Lightning. And now this is a Tier 6 and 7 game of domination on Crash Zone. On the enemy team we have a Benson, a Kagero, a Cleveland in a division with another Cleveland, a Sonop, a Scharnhorst, an Odin, a Tirpitz and a Jean Bar. On the friendly team we have a Mass, Ekizoon in the Lightning, a Helena, a Wichita, a Baltimore, a Scharnhorst, a Valavistok, an Odin and a Tirpitz. So he's spawned in the centre, but considering that the other destroyer on his team is over at the Alpha Bravo area of the map, he's probably going to end up playing the Charlie flank, I guess you could say. Enemy Tirpitz spotted up ahead, fair enough. Now it's interesting to see here that he decides to use the wide angle launch for these British torpedoes rather than using the sequentially launching torpedoes. It's an interesting choice, I guess you could say. With the British destroyers, you can obviously either fire your torpedoes off in those wide bands, but they're actually quite narrow, or you can fire them off individually using the sequential launch. Now, the nice one with the British torpedoes is at this tier, the Lightning does have 10km torpedoes. However, she does have slightly lower torpedo count. She's only got 8 torpedoes in quadruple launchers rather than the 2 quintuplet launchers that you've probably got used to at tier 5 and tier 6 in the Icarus and the Jervis. Getting a double fire on that Tirpitz, forcing out a damage con, and yeah, no, it doesn't look like he's damage con. Looks like he's going to be burning up, so that's going to be yielding some nice damage points as we're ticking through quite nicely. Unfortunately, he is spotted, or was spotted there, due to the enemy destroyer that has been located to the west of Brava. Now looking at the mini-map, looks like the double Cleveland division have been spotted to the south of Charlie. Now this is a concern because Cleveland obviously comes with radar. There's no way for that to really be swapped out. So, or it could be swapped out, but the chances are it's not going to be swapped out. So that is a dangerous, precarious situation that he might find himself in if those Clevelands do start to flex, because obviously they have 9km radar, which lasts for, I think it's either 30 or 35 seconds. Some torpedoes passing to his starboard side, so that would indicate that probably the other destroyer is kicking around here as well. Getting some torpedoes away onto the Tirpitz again, which looked like she finally did put a fire out, although he's managed to get another fire on someone else, potentially the Tirpitz, not quite sure. So you're probably noticing that he's got quite a very rapid rate of fire and very good chances of setting fires, and that's very much what he's done with his commander build and his modules. So commander build, he's taken John Jellicoe, which I think is a bit of a surprise, and he's using Burn It Down XXL, Look at Me Now, Back in Stock, Smoke on the Water and Unstoppable. Inspirations, Sims and Mordoff. Now Mordoff is the American Halloween commander, which came out recently, which reduces the reload time of the destroyer's main battery. Getting a single torpedo into the Tirpitz, finishing it off, getting himself first blood. Fair enough. When it comes to the modules, he hasn't got a module fitted in the first slot, however he has got steering gears, concealment systems and main battery, so again focusing on that reload speed. From what he mentions, he's got a fire chance of 11% and a 3.7 second reload speed on these guns. So he's very much made the Lightning into a gunboat, and he's going to start using those guns to his advantage here, dropping one of those miniature smoke screens and opening fire, maximising his DPM on a single target without being exposed to the enemy. Just making a note there that the Clevelands are just over 9km away, so just making sure they're not going to be picking them up on radar. Getting a fire on the Sonop, so switching his focus over to the Scharnhorst, obviously trying to spread those fires around, try and maximise that incoming damage from his fires, really. So we have mentioned the commander and the modules, and if you want to refer to them in future, always down in the description. Getting a fire on the Scharnhorst, and looks like forcing a damage con out of the Scharnhorst as well. Now firing one batch of torpedoes off on the Scharnhorst, but keeping hold of the second batch, which he's now going to use on the Odin. Bear in mind the Odin does have a sonar, I'd say probably 5.6 kilometer range on that sonar for picking up ships from the Odin, so you definitely don't want to be getting caught out in a smokescreen via that. Also worth noting, 2 Clevelands, there they are, 9.8 and 10 kilometers away, so definitely still outside of radar range. Looks like the Odin's actually accelerating, so it looks like she's going to be dodging those torpedoes. So pop the smoke screen, see if we can set ourselves afire. And those other torpedoes that went off to the Scharnhorst, can't quite see them from here. Not sure if they're going to make a mark. Get the fire on the Odin though. And she's not damaged on that fire. There's those torpedoes on the Scharnhorst. Looks like the Scharnhorst is actually going to turn into those torpedoes, which could be quite amusing. Looks like you're probably going to get a 1. There you go, very nice. Get yourself 11,000 damage with that torpedo here. And obviously switching to the Scharnhorst there to see if you can force a fire up. There's your fire on the Scharnhorst, very nice. Now you've got a fire on the Odin and the Scharnhorst. Odin's closing in. You've got another fire on the Odin. But we're getting precariously close to the Odin sonar range. Noting that the Clevelands are still outside radar range, spotted by the Odin. Your detectability probably isn't that great. Let's see, you'll probably want to get about 5.5 to 5.6 away if you've got a reasonable concealment build, but then you haven't got Eric Bay, so you're probably looking at, well, 5.8, maybe somewhere between 5.8 and 6 probably. There you go, 5.8. Engine knocked out. Damage calling to the engine, even though you don't completely necessarily have to due to unstoppable, but obviously even with your unstoppable trait, your engines will still suffer a little bit in regards to the maximum speed output. Just noting that he did manage to get himself the Witherer medal, and it looks like all the fires have been put out, so time to put another shrimp on the Barbie and get those fires relit, at the same time harvesting those defender ribbons. Now if you're in a situation like this where you can harvest defender ribbons, it's probably worth switching targets. Pick on one, then pick on another, and just hone in those defender ribbons. Get a fire on the Odin, switching to the Synop, getting a second fire on the Odin. It looks like she's not forcing a damage con out though. But yeah, getting those defender ribbons, harvesting those in, which is always worthwhile. Looks like the Odin's trying to blind fire you in your smoke, getting yourself high caliber, very nice. 3 seconds after your smoke screen, getting a bit precarious here. Cleveland's are 10.6 and 11.4 kilometers away, so not too scary. Getting another fire on the Synop. Firing torpedoes at the Synop and torpedoes at the Jean Bar. Torpedoes on the Jean Bar, a bit risky, you never know, because the Jean Bar can accelerate and decelerate quite quickly. However, those torpedoes that you fired at the Synop, probably quite a good choice actually, because you might catch the Odin out there in the smoke screen and open fire. Noting that the Cleveland is about 9.6 away. Looks like the enemy Kagero has decided to flank all the way around and is picking on your friendly battleships, but at the moment you kind of got to deal with the situation in front of you, which is all these ships. Cleveland is an 8 point. There's the Cleveland's radar. Looks like you're going to get the Synop though. Very nice. Getting yourself arsonist. Time to get away from that Cleveland. Looking for about the magic 9 kilometers. There you go. You should be alright now. That's alright. That's got you away from one. And there's the other Cleveland, which is 8.4. And on goes her radar as well. So those Clevelands are definitely in a party chat and communicating. So continue kiting and see if we can get away from her. You're looking for the magic 9 kilometers again. At the same time, you know you're going to be fired upon by pretty much everything they've got here. 8.8, 8.9. There's your steering gears. Thankfully, you still got unstoppable, but using the damage con just to keep it going. Looks like you managed to disengage from the Clevelands. However, only down to under 5,000 HP, which is a bit risky, especially with that Kagero still kicking around. If the Kagero is a good commander, he should be able to hit you quite hard, even with your improved rate of fire that you have in the Lightning. Opening fire on the Jean Bar. Looks like the enemy team aren't too interested in flexing up in towards your position, and we know that both Clevelands have just wasted their radar, so you're going to be alright for a good while those radar sets reload. So picking on the Jean Bart with its 32mm upper armour, so you should be getting a reasonable good number of getting a lot of shatters, setting the fire though. Most of your penetrations seem to be on the superstructure by the looks of it. Might as well switch to Cleveland. She's only got about 7,000 HP. Might be able to finish her off, especially if someone else chips in and mops her up. Ooh, there she goes. Scharnhorst mops her up. That means there's still the other Cleveland, I think, kicking around. Yes, the other Cleveland's still got a lot of HP left. There goes the Jean Bart, so that just leaves one of the Clevelands and Odin, which doesn't have a lot of HP. Well, he's managed to heal up though, and we've also got the Kagero kicking around to the southwest of your current position, or at least based on her last known location. So your team's managed to keep points ahead. Obviously the advantage of holding A, capping B, and contesting Charlie for quite a large amount of this game. That Cleveland is still very dangerous to you. Taking some risks here, opening fire on her while they're in open water. You've only got the one smoke screen left, so you're using that. So that's your last final smoke screen. Not often do you use all your smoke screens in a British destroyer, and when you do, you know you're having one of those games. The Kagero has just torpedoed the Odin, which gives you an idea whereabouts the Kagero is operating, based on her torpedoes, getting a fire on the Cleveland. And the Cleveland's now closing in on you, and there's a good chance that she might have her radar reloaded soon. So it's probably time to get out of here. There's the Kagero spotted directly west of your position, and she's got all of her HP left as well. Keeping an eye out on the Cleveland. Loosen some torpedoes, hoping, I guess, to maybe get a hit or two. Potentially you might be able to force her broadside onto your friendly cruiser by the looks of the current positioning. Yeah, it's probably wise for maybe the Scharnhorst not to completely flex in on the Kagero solo. Looks like the Cleveland's spotting your torpedoes and is making some maneuvers to get around them. Yeah, he's managed to get through the net. Scharnhorst has managed to evade the Kagero's torpedoes. Just got to make sure you do the same. There's the Kagero, full HP. Okay, Scharnhorst managed to knock 5,000 off of it. Time for you to open up, and all this time you've got the Cleveland just behind you, potentially able to chip in. Get some nice hits on the Cleveland, and the Scharnhorst is definitely assisting. Nice, very nice. Managed to mop her up. That just leaves the Cleveland, and now you're in a risky situation where you've got no smokes to disengage. You're just leaving radar range, so you should be alright if she does decide to... Oh, opening fire, so you're deciding to go guts or glory, I guess you could say, in order to maybe secure the win. I mean, you have got the assistance of the friendly Scharnhorst, get another fire, and the Confederates. Playing around with that throttle quite nicely, giving yourself the ability to evade those incoming Cleveland volleys. Obviously, the Cleveland with only having 6-inch guns, and being American, they can be a bit sluggish, I guess you could say. So they do float in the air quite a bit. And when you're a destroyer, sometimes if you're quite wary of where they're coming from and where they're aiming, you can almost evade it by just playing around with your throttle and also your rudder. Getting another fire on the Cleveland. And unfortunately, that is all she wrote, because obviously the PlayStation sometimes has this marvelous trick where it corrupts the end of a clip or something like that. So in this case, we've only got to here, we've got 50 seconds left of the game where he's going to continue picking on that Cleveland. whether he goes down, whether he kills the Cleveland, to be honest, I think we can say Ekizoon's done a very good job already. I mean, taking a look at what we have in the top right corner, we have 180 plus K damage. He's only going to be earning more with at least 3 kills. Whether he gets to Cleveland, I'm not quite sure. But he's managed to do that from 287 hits on target and for 3 torpedo hits. So very much been playing this as a gunboat, causing 18 fires at the time of ending there and 2 floodings, and also getting 5 defender ribbons, getting himself First Blood, Witherer, High Caliber, Arsonist, and Confederate. So he's really putting some heavy lifting, and I wouldn't be surprised if he definitely comes in top of his team by a large margin. Obviously, some assistance from his team. They managed to actually cap B. Looks like a lot of the enemy pushed into Charlie as well, so he's been able to tie them up. Also, the way that the cruisers held back. The Kagero went off to the flank, and it was only the battleships that kind of pushed in, which meant that Ekizoon could really just take advantage of those battleships without any fear coming from the cruisers or the Kagero until really later on in the game, once he'd already worked most of those battleships over. And even then, the Clevelands only tried a single pass at him at one point. Obviously, they changed their radar off after each other, but they weren't able to really capitalize on it because obviously they put their radar on when he was only about 500 meters from safety. And the Kagero could have been a problem, but the Scharnhorst assist in there managed to really help wipe out the Kagero and keep the Kagero tied up so the Kagero couldn't really turn its guns onto Ekizoon and his Lightning. Well, if you have enjoyed it, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you enjoy this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Down in the description is the command build that Ekizoon used, the modules used, along with the email address to the channel if you want to send your own game captures, and the link to Patreon if you want to support the channel on Patreon. Until next time, I'm the Gareth Major, and back to the port.
Hey, hey, clear the way, here comes the galloping Major. Bumpity, 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 bump. Get out of the way there, you fellows, unless you want me to run you down. I guess this is the life. Now, hey, hey, clear the way, here comes the galloping Major.